Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for a new live stream. And today we are here to talk about South Africa versus Pakistan. But at the same time, we'll be talking about what's happening in the World Cup because a lot has happened since the last time we joined you all in live stream because most of the teams had played 4 games, but now we're seeing a clearer picture. You know, when you don't wear glasses and when you are not sure of what is happening there, and we're seeing a clearer picture as to who are the top four gonna be towards the latter end. You never know with cricket. Funny things have always happened. Since then, an upset has happened. Not upset. Afghanistan is going to defeat Pakistan. Not an upset, I'll call it. Afghanistan has played well to do it. So India have gone to defeat New Zealand since the last stream, and England have continued to lose. You know they've never won a game since then. I've Sai and Antariksh joining me. I'll get to Antariksh first up. Antariksh, this World Cup has been about who knows how to play 50 overs cricket better, and the ones who do not know how to play 50 overs cricket who have been so T20 dominant have been just erased. It's like the survival of the fittest in 50 overs.
This was much needed. Very happy. This was much needed. I don't care, what team is getting suffer because of this. Because you know what, this was much needed. There were questions on ODI cricket as a whole. There were questions
Yeah,
on, whether there should be two formats of cricket, which is long format and the short format. You could think
right.
about maybe shortening it or whatever, but they were like, for me, as I've always said, like I hold myself up for the traditions of sport. Like I like it really the way it's always been. So I'm a big fan of traditions in sports, be it football, be it
Mhm.
cricket, be it other sports. So I was really touched negatively by the fact that people were actually questioning. All right, there's no audience, this and that, but come on. So now, as you were talking about upsets, I mean, Pakistan getting defeated by Afghanistan ain't an upset. The real upset is India defeating New Zealand. I mean, in World Cups. So, but no, very happy with the whole start that we've got. Of course, for me, the real World Cup begins in that semi-final. That's
Yeah.
what I'm eyeing for. But yeah, as you said, big disappointment for English fans, man. I mean, what's just happened? Some people saying the way they won the last one, maybe it's karma, but come on, it's as you said, maybe not adapting to the game, like looking at their squad and stuff. Maybe you can get away with that in Test cricket as the field is up. There are not many people outside. You edge it,
Yeah.
you honk it away. You have that pressure release shot. But here, when you play that and you don't play that with timing or in the gap, then you're left wondering, all right, I'm gone, I'm this and that. So wow, I mean, it's been a shock
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks.
Hello, Ravi Tiwari. Welcome on the show. Sai, I'll get to you now. I mean, if you look at the World Cup and how things stand as of now, we have a picture right now as to who are taking the eighth survey. We'll just look at the points table in a while. But if you just look at the picture of who are going to be, do you reckon are there going to be any changes in the points table from here on? Because it just looks like the best four will keep their spots, and rest of the teams will battle it out for the Champions Trophy spots rather the top eight.
Yeah, absolutely. Because right now we are at the stage where we all talk about the momentum, right? Because we don't want any team to lose games here on. Because now it's all about momentum. So the whatever happened till now, it's gone, right? So we have to think about the momentum. As I said, I'm concerned about New Zealand and yeah, for New Zealand because here on, the games that they are playing is very difficult as compared to the previous
Yeah.
schedule, right? So I don't want teams in the top four who can start losing the games and they can come down. The only team I'm feeling who can come up is for Afghanistan because of the schedule
Mhm.
they have, right? Because Pakistan, New Zealand, Australia, yeah, these three teams have very tough games, the remaining four games, right? So we can't talk about anything about it. About the teams on the screen, you can see for Afghanistan, they have already upsetted Pakistan and England, and the remaining two
Yeah.
games they have is against Australia and South Africa. And we know
Right.
that South Africa can lose anytime, anywhere. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
feeling one team who can come up is between Afghanistan or Pakistan, and the team can come down is in terms of New Zealand because they do have the three games, very difficult games because it's against tomorrow, right? It's against
Yeah.
Australia, then
Yeah.
against South Africa again, and then
Hmm.
against England. I feel no, not England gone. I feel there is a difficult team also. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
about my take about the
They
points
play
table.
South Africa. New Zealand play South Africa, then they play Pakistan, they play Sri Lanka as well. So
Hmm.
they've got a lot of things to play at this point, especially tough oppositions. And that's why you personally think like this could be where things can possibly change for New Zealand cricket team. But until I'll get to you as well. And if you just look at the way in which this table is now poised, you can say the net run rate is a major factor. We're not looking into that just yet, but if you look at the margin in which these teams are defeated the lower ranked opposition, that really shows how net run rate is going to be a massive factor for the lower ranked teams come the other end of the tournament.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we will start to take notice of it as we come closer to that 9 game mark, right? So it's like
Yeah.
5 games. We still see a lot of it, a lot of shuffling happening, and maybe some teams are not taking notice of it. But you know what? I mean, this is the World Cup, and this is cricket that we're talking about. We never know. I don't know why. I mean, we're talking about England being down and out, but I just have a feel. What if they just go on and win? Their next four. I mean, India's won five.
Yeah.
They could win four, and then we suddenly have a situation wherein things like net run rate two come into play. So very interesting to see how it'll shape up, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
as time
But let's talk about
as I was saying that yeah, I mean New Zealand, South Africa, New Zealand, which he put points across that. South Africa, we almost know that they could falter any time, although they're looking pretty solid at least in their opening batting or the top order stuff. But we know they can falter any time, and New Zealand have some decently difficult games to go on. So very interesting. I think today's game would be a big momentum shifter if Pakistan goes on and wins it. I just have a feeling that if they nick this one, then I think they could be heading towards that fourth, yeah, third wala position. Because if they lose this one, they're almost gone, anyways. But if they win this one, it could be a big momentum shifter for them.
it could be, but still, for Pakistan, they have to win four in the trot to make possibly get the 12 points, which is not an easy thing in this World Cup. Let's be honest about
Yeah.
it. For
Mm.
Pakistan, with the form they've been, with all the press release, everything that's going on. Let's talk about this game now, as we already spoke about what's happening around. Such a big game. Sai, South Africa coming off some big wins, defeated Bangladesh by such a heavy margin, went on to trash England. Okay, we can say England is in not good form, but South Africa is imposing themselves. They're batting out teams, scoring 380, 390s, 400s. And this is a different South Africa. Let's talk about other South Africa across the World Cup. These are batters who are accustomed to Indian conditions, and they really back themselves to play fearless
Yeah.
brand of cricket. And that's a dangerous South Africa we're talking about. Okay, often South Africa comes to the big tournaments and their big batters don't step up. But this fearless factor, which has been embedded into the South African team, is really helping them to go a notch higher than what they were expected to.
Yeah, because right now, why they are doing that? Because it's about the chase, right? Because they are not that much confident about the chase. Why?
Yeah,
Because of the options they have. They do have only five bowling options, proper five bowling options, right? So they want to finish the game in the first innings by scoring 350, 380, 400, so that they will eliminate the competition that itself at that point of time, because they don't have the bowling lineup, because they have only five bowlers to chase or to defend the total, right? So that's why they don't want to take risk in the second innings, and this is how I look about their approach in the first innings, because they hardly chased only one time, right? Means in the second innings they batted only one time and they lose it, right? So I
yeah,
feel this is about the strategy they have, that if they get a chance to put a target on the board, then they will finish the game in the first innings itself, because they don't have that much of kind of allowance to defend the total if it is less than 350 or less than 300, because of the limited options they have, right? So that's why they're approaching to all out approach, that they are going all out for the first innings. And today again, if they bat first, then for sure they will try to reach at least 350 against Pakistan. And if they reach 350, then the competition is over and in the first inning itself.
interesting, interesting. Because that's been the way in which they batted. But Antrish, let's talk about some of the main batters. Quinton de Kock, I think he deserves a lot more praise than what we give him at this point. It's been his World Cup kind of. He's really come into this World Cup. He's really owned this World Cup. We talk about Rohit Sharma, we talk about Virat
Yeah.
Kohli in this World Cup, but Quinton de Kock is silently there, scored 300 already, which is the most by a South African wicketkeeper batter or by any wicketkeeper batter. No, just behind Sangakkara rather. Is most by any by South African wicketkeeper batter, highest ever individual score by a wicketkeeper batter in a World Cup, 174, and he's gone on to break multiple records. And he's broke his own record for the highest runs scored by a South African wicketkeeper batter in a World Cup. It's now 407 runs. I think this is his World Cup own. He understands this is his last international tournament, and he's going out there and giving it his all.
Yeah, I think it went into the perfect place for someone like Quinton de Kock. Like he was always that guy. You know, we've been talking about him when he came new to the scene. Of course, he didn't join cricket like he didn't set the international cricket on stage like at
Yeah,
19, 20 or something. He joined in a late. Although he seems as if he's very young, but his face is a bit deceptive in that sense. But no, like we've been talking about him for years now, and like for him to finally arrive on that stage on a consistent basis, win big games at big tournaments for his team, it was long due. And as I said, it fell into right place for him because of that IPL. Many players have just stepped up their Indian game. So like people are
yeah,
just players are just accustomed to Indian conditions a bit better now. And for the World Cup to be held in India and then for him to step up was absolutely necessary. See, I just feel like it's with South Africa, it's like the opposite of India. Like we're just chasing, and South Africa just wants to put up a big score. Now of course, as a science said, but like I just feel that any team would want to post up 400 if they had the choice. It's not about them just wanting to do that because of course, चाहती तो like Netherlands भी है कि हम हर बार 400 बनाए, but it's like the fact that all guns are blazing for them at the right time, at the right moment. It's just that for India, it's in the second innings because we've gotten a chance for that. And for them, it's like look at Henry Klassen. Like again, he's one
yeah.
who's going silently too. Like every game he's played, it's except for one, he's like at least been like that quick fire Klassen. Forget about the number of runs he gets, but he has been in that form. He has been in that rich vein of form. And you can judge someone like a Klassen by the way he plays the short ball. Like we look at him like he just stands. He doesn't even go onto the back foot or on the front foot. He just hoinks it away, just standing still. And if he's able to play shots like that, you're in big trouble if you're the bowling team. So yeah, but shifting the focus a bit to Pakistan, I just had a question. Like, of course, like we enjoy it. It's prime comedy for us to look at Pakistan being humiliated and the press being all over them, and we're having a tub of popcorn with it. But do you feel like, I mean, we talk about Indian press and how we put pressure. Do you think it's really unfair, like at this moment? Because you know what, ex players going in, like we're ex players, right? And we criticize, and if they criticize one bit, we're like, all right, well, now here are ex players who are just clowning their captains, their current players. It's not even criticizing; they're just going through their character assassination. All right, it's not just cricket, dilemma which is
Mm.
being solved. So, do you think that really puts up a lot of, and that's been the story with Pakistan for many years now? Do you think that hinders them a bit too much?
Sai, you want to take that?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's true. They are kind of very reactive team, right? Because they react a lot. And to be honest, it's all about the captain initially. Okay, because
Yeah.
even though they are having this kind of reactions all over the world right now, and it anyhow it has to be done because if it is not, then they won't realize initially, right? It has to be meant to do at least initially because if it was at the latest stage of this tournament, it was very bad, right? But right now, it's at the right moment. I feel it's needed for them because they are very, to be honest, they are very overconfident, right? Which I have seen about their media, about their team, their kind of coaching staff, and other senior players, experts. To be honest,
Sai, I just
yeah.
want to put in, like, do you think the team is overconfident, or has the media been overconfident, and now the media is the same people who are now,
I think
just
it's
pushing?
it's the media, to be very honest. If you remember, I mean, I have to be very honest here. After the Afghanistan series where they had played
Yeah,
before the Asia Cup, I remember the
yeah,
prime minister tweeting it out on Twitter, saying that they can't play him after Shaheen picked up those 3 wickets against India. And
yeah,
after that, a lot of Pakistani journalists were of the opinion that they didn't want to come to Pakistan because they were scared of playing Pakistan.
Yeah.
and they were like India bach gaya pehla match in
Yeah.
Pali ke liye, where the game was rained out. And that's the kind of narrative they create. In Pakistan, there's two things, right? I've seen Pakistan cricket for a long period of time. It's like they either put their team on in nine skies above, saying they're the
Exactly.
greatest in the world, or if a batter comes, they put them as the greatest player in the world, or they completely tarnish him, break him down. Now, the
Yeah.
funny part over here is the same fans, the same media. I think it was 40 days ago where we were sitting and talking about how 40 or 50 days ago for that matter, where Pakistan is the world number one team. Pakistan
Yeah.
was going to be unstoppable in Asia Cup, World Cup. Is going to be the strong favorites. Have now released a press release last evening stating that Babar Azam and Mickey Arthur had full responsibility for selecting the team. Now, whatever decision will be made will be for the best interest of Pakistan. So now we've already rolled the heads almost and put him under the bus, which is Babar Azam and Mickey Arthur. Now, what is the confidence in which Babar Azam is going to go into this match? He knows that he's in trouble either ways.
Exactly.
Even if he wins the World Cup, Mickey Arthur knows he's in trouble. Now, that is not a good position to be in. No cricket board
Exactly.
should ever possibly throw the captain under the bus during the middle of the World Cup. Okay, the statement started off by saying in cricket this happens, 4 games is still remaining for our team, we can still turn it around. And then they say Babar Azam and Mickey Arthur had full responsibility, and also Inzamam Ulaq rather had full responsibility for the team. So Inzamam Ulaq, Mickey Arthur, and Babar Azam are in serious trouble. Now Pakistan have washed their hands off, and it's a very typical Pakistan cricket board like thing to do, which is to wash their hands, which is to say that सी हमने तो जो किया हमने तो फ्रीडम दे दिया इन लोगों को, इन लोगों ने टीम
Yeah.
अच्छा सेलेक्ट नहीं किया, और इन इन जो प्लेयर जो लोग खेलने गए हैं इन लोगों का प्रॉब्लम है, अभी इन लोगों का मसला
Mhm.
है, तो यही
Absolutely.
इशू है. That's what they often say. They have like, now the media is like, why didn't they pick up Abrar Ahmed, now why didn't they pick up Shan Masood? This is what's been happening in the media for the last 5 days. Now there's no point of talking about it right now
I
when it's
actually
already
feel
over.
bad, and you know what, Abel? Like a part of that media is the ex-players, and it's not like 20 saal purane ex-players. It's people like Misbah Ulaq, it's people like Shoaib Malik, it's people like Shoaib Akhtar, who are a big part of that media, who themselves were the victims of this. Like when they were
Yeah,
playing, because we know, like we've heard stories of Pakistan not, Pakistan ka flight being midway transferred to somewhere, just not Karachi. Let's
yeah,
go to Dubai instead. So, I
yeah,
mean, they have been victims of. So it's very sad because you know what? Of course, there is that rivalry in India Pakistan. But what I feel is sometimes from Pakistani players, of course, there's that aggression. But
yeah,
kahin na kahin unko bhi pata hai. I would use the word aukat, like because even when they've lost the game, Babar Azam comes in and asks for an autograph, like asks for that shirt, and they're not they don't mind it. Like they know they're going to be tweeted out, they're going to be humiliated on Twitter, on all socials, but they don't mind it
mm,
because they know. Like even Babar Azam multiple times has said, like what Virat Kohli has done. Of course, I've like a lot of years to go and reach there. It's the media that hypes him up as the best thing ever, and then media is now actually portraying him to be a worse player than he ever is going to be. So it's pretty
absolutely.
bad and sad for a nation to go through. Not a nation, but like a cricketing team to
Yeah.
go through this basically.
Absolutely. But that's classic Pakistan, to be honest.
Yeah,
Should we
yeah,
actually elaborate any further by saying it's classic vintage Pakistan thing to do? When the team is doing good, it's everything high. When the team is bad, everything is just against the world. And if you look at the YouTubers, the medias, everybody knows. I mean, there are some YouTubers, if you want to go there, it's just a rant,
yeah,
true rant. I mean,
yeah,
even Indian IPL teams have picked them up. That's a funny part. Like, if you know
yeah,
what I mean today. So, so that's how it's just become meme. But let's talk about South Africa. I mean, we already did throw some light, but we have to talk about South Africa and the way in which they played. I mean, Sai, you have to say this World Cup has been just about South Africa really stepping up. And if you look at the middle order contributions, it's been phenomenal. Andre Klaassen, or for the matter, Aiden Markram, David Miller in the last game with the cameo, Marco Jansen against England. Oh, it's been a powerful, powerful South African middle order, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So on screen, you can see right now the top two teams are playing today, which is Africa and Pakistan. So, but here the story is different. The African batting order from 1 to 6 or 1 to 7, they have every possible player have contributed equally, right? But for the Pakistan, you can see they are more dependent on their middle order, right? Because they have around 50% of the runs scored by the middle order, which is 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing goes for Africa also, but still they have the momentum in terms of the top 6 players, right? And but there is an interesting point over here. which is not from today's match, but about India, which is at the last position about the middle order contributions, because we don't have runs off shares, we don't have runs about Hardik except the first couple of games, and he's not in the game for a couple of days now. So yes, so right now the strength of Africa is all about middle order, and that's why I said if they bat first, then for sure they will try to finish the game in the first inning itself. They won't give a single chance for the other team to come back in the second innings, because if you put around 350, still it will be huge total for Pakistan to chase down with that batting lineup, because Imam is not in form in power play. If they get couple of wickets in terms of Africa for the first power play, then for sure it will be completely back foot, and then it will be again on Rizwan and Babar, right? How many times they will save you, right? So that's why it's all about the first power play. If Africa was able to pick up a couple of wickets today in the first power play, then it's already gone. And if Africa is
Absolutely.
batting first, then it's already gone.
Absolutely. I have a sneaky feeling that Pakistan will collapse to under 200. Your analysis is better than many channels. Thank you so much, Azul, for that. And I have a sneaky feeling about Pakistan collapsing under 200. Okay, that's an interesting thing because that's the thing with Pakistan today. If Marco Jansen, Rabada, or Lungi and Gidakoidze, if they had to strike and they can strike big, you reckon that's going to be the biggest challenge for Pakistan Antariksh, that their South African paces have been in tremendous form. Marco Jansen has been killing it in this World Cup with his wickets up front, and he's got ballers to back. Rabada is not bowling in the power play. Remember, he's a first change. He's coming off the power play. He's been protected by the South African camp to be a middle overs enforce, and he's doing a phenomenal job there. And today there might be a chance of Tabre Shamsi playing as well because of the recent struggles against left-arm wrist spin of Pakistan.
Yeah. Exactly. I was going to come on that because I think the game's in Chennai, right?
Yep.
I mean, it should be all but certain that Tabrez Shamsi should play, like most probably, because as you said, the trouble that Pakistani batters have had in the past. Plus, it's in Chennai, so of course we've seen a lot of teams go with that extra spinner, and I think Keshav Maharaj, who's a bit flatter in nature, I think would so someone like a Shamsi would be preferred, who gives the ball a bit more air, and it does like to toss it up a bit. And you're absolutely right, and I think we've done a version of that with Bumrah, and that is something I absolutely love. Your main pace bowler, because we've seen the ball in India, especially, and just like that art of swing is something that is not really like as it used to be. And there are a few swing, of course. There's a Trent Bowles of this world, and not really someone else. Yeah, maybe you could say Shaheen Shafridi to an extent, but not a lot of people try to swing the ball. So what I really love about that is once the 10 overs are gone, and or once 6, 7, 8 overs are done, when you're closer to that restriction being off, and that is when Ravada comes in, and teams are looking to score generally when the ball is new, but the restrictions are not there. The restrictions are not there anymore. So then it really
Yep.
does make him a very, very sneaky wicket taking asset for South Africa, and that is what I really love about India as well. We only try to bowl, let Bumrah bowl only 3 overs, and then we have 3-4 for the middle, and then 3-4 for the end, which is pretty good, and it's working pretty well for us. So I think this is the new sort of tactic in town that yeah, you get your swing bowlers in maybe 3-4 overs, and then you just shift to your main wicket taking bowlers in the middle overs, which is which has worked very well for South Africa.
Absolutely, that's a good point because that's the kind of plan in which they're going into this World Cup, and it's paid dividends for them so far. But Sai, if at all South Africa were to bat second, and that's been the record which South Africa doesn't like as well against Pakistan since 1999 or 1992, rather 1992, Pakistan and South Africa have had some good games, but South Africa never had the edge over them. It's always been them chasing against Pakistan. So, firstly, they'll want to bat first, and secondly, the record against Pakistan chasing is horrendous. They've lost almost
Oh,
every World Cup trying to chase against Pakistan.
Yeah, right. So, but today, I feel even though it's batting first or batting second, they are strong. Why? Because in for Pakistan in the last game, they were unsuccessful in defending the total, even though they had brilliant total on the board around 280 plus against Afghanistan. 280 plus, no one can give chance to Afghanistan, right?
yeah.
But still, they managed to do it. it's not about the batting failure in the last game, it's all about the bowling failure. They did the batting very really well. The spinners did the work for Afghanistan, but they kind of made the way in the last 10 overs, right? So in the batting department, they were great. They lose the game due to the bowling performance, and they were unsuccessful in defending the total. So they might have that aspect in the mind also while playing today's game. So still, I don't feel South Africa will face any problem in chasing today because they have the caliber, they have everything in your hand. But for the Pakistan, as I can see that they were unsuccessful in the last game, that may
Yeah.
be the issue with them again today.
Absolutely. This has been the lowest scoring round in this World Cup with an average of 254. Are we expecting a low score game again from Kushagra? Um, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what pitch are they using. I've not seen the pitch yet. If it's a dry wicket like what you saw in India versus Australia, this could be a low scoring one. But if it's anything like the pitch what we saw in Pakistan versus Afghanistan, it could be a 250, 280 game. But I don't expect a 300 score in Chennai. Historically, there's been never 300 scores in Chennai. It's always been 280, 270, and 270 is a phenomenal score to defend. But if you're bad bowlers, if you're not going to bowl in right lengths, then even 280, 270 is also not going to do you any good. Pakistan spinners have to step up. South Africa will really fancy to bat first and score in excess of that. And that's about it from us. The toss is about to start and the game is about to start. Thank you, Antariksh and Sai. It was beautiful in analyzing the game with you both. And hopefully we can have an exciting game because we've been having one-sided games for way too long now. Finally, or else we're going to see who the top four are. Either one thing is going to be decided at the end of the day. Thank you, Antariksh and Sai, once again. Remember to check out our channel, Mad About Sports, for all the latest sporting updates and daily content on sports. And also, do not forget to follow our Instagram page for daily updates on sports. And also, check out our courses with Mad About Sports for analytical insights. If you want to be an analyst sitting in the cricket dugout, or if you're an aspiring football analyst, check out our courses with Mad About Sports. Enroll now. The link is in the description. Thank you and see you all very soon. Bye-bye.